Hey everyone, this is Ian with AlphaCars and Motorcycles. Today I've got an exciting new Royal Enfield to share with you. This is a 2023 Royal Enfield Meteor 350, and it's in a new color for 2023, Supernova Red. And it is the top of the line model in this color, so we do get a backrest for the passenger and the sleek looking front windscreen here. So in this video, we're going to talk about its design and features. I'll give you some of my personal thoughts on it as well. We'll talk about its specifications and the 3-year unlimited mileage warranty that these bikes come with. So if you're a new viewer here, welcome to AlphaCars. We share motoring content daily. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on exciting things like this Royal Enfield. But now let's take a deeper dive into this Meteor. Let's start out by just taking a good look at this Meteor. I love this colorway. I like the accents, like the little gray striping that divides our red and black. And then of course the chrome to tie it all in. And of course we have these alloy wheels. They have a machined finish on some of the spokes. And of course the frame's finished in black. We have the machined finish on some of the edges of the heat fins there on the cylinder jug. I just think Royal Enfield did such a great job in just the design and the color choice with tying everything together. I think it's a very classic and just clean, very clean looking bike. And of course there's all the little details you'll notice when you see one of these in person. We've got the little Royal Enfield logo on the windscreen. There's even a little Royal Enfield logo on the end of the little bulb reflector in there. It's all very nice, and there's a lot of attention to detail everywhere you look on this Royal Enfield. So now that we're a bit more familiar with how gorgeous this machine is, let's talk about what powers it. That's a 349cc single overhead cam, single cylinder. It is fuel injected, so behind our beautiful side cover here, you won't find a carburetor. You'll find a throttle body with a fuel injector in there, and it is still cable operated. So the throttle response is very direct, and as you would expect, it's not like a ride-by-wire throttle. This makes 20 horsepower and 19.9 foot-pounds of torque. If you look around on our shifter side, it is a heel-toe shifter as standard. They work great, very smooth, and very, it being kind of a cruiser-style bike, just a very comfortable and easy thing to use. You don't have to ever get your toe up under the shifter as you normally would. And I forget if I mentioned it, but that is a 5-speed gearbox as well. And this is air and oil cooled, so of course the oil in it will keep it at a safe operating temperature. And we have, as I mentioned before, these nice looking fins on the cylinder jug, and there's even like a little heat sink with fins on the header right there for air to flow over and take heat off that engine. Royal Enfield claims around 80 miles to the gallon. So with a 3.96 gallon fuel tank, you're going to maximize your miles per gallon. You're not going to be worried about fuel stops or finding a station. So with having about a 4-gallon tank, you're going to be already equipped to eat up those miles out on the open road. Now talking about the weight, 421 pounds wet. So the wet weight is the weight you want to know of your motorcycle. That's the actual weight you're going to be handling because it's full of all the fluids, brake fluid, oil, fuel, etc. Don't be fooled, so to speak, by a motorcycle's dry weight, because it's actually going to be heavier than the dry weight of what you're actually going to be having to handle out on the road or maneuvering in a parking lot. So just be aware of that. So 421 pounds, very kind of normal for a motorcycle in this class, in this size class. And the seat height is only 30.1 inches. So right now it's a bit higher because it's on the center stand, but only 30.1 inches. It's very comfortable. We can see the seat is kind of has that kind of curve to it, so you kind of sit in it. It's super comfortable, almost like you're sitting on your couch in your living room as you go down the road, but of course in a safe way to operate a motorcycle. And we have other seat options for these as well. And later in this video, we will talk about other accessories where we can really personalize the Meteor and make it your own. But the factory seat is still very comfortable and a very nice place to be. So let's talk about the kind of wheels, tires, and suspension. We've got a 19-inch wheel in the front and a 17-inch wheel in the back. They are alloy wheels with tubeless tires. And I do like the design of the alloy wheels, as I mentioned earlier, with that kind of machined edge of the spokes. I think it all ties in very well. We've got 6.7 inches of ground clearance, and the rear shocks have 6-point adjustability for the preload, for the spring preload. So with the ground clearance, more than enough if you got to go over a speed bump or maybe debris comes up on the road. So no worries there. And then of course you can adjust that preload on those rear shocks if you have a passenger or you're going to have luggage. Just kind of tuning it to your preferred riding style. Now let's get on to the brakes. We got standard ABS front and rear. In the rear we have a 270 millimeter disc with a single piston caliper. And then the front we have a 300 millimeter disc with a dual piston caliper. And we can see the rotor is drilled and it is a floating design. So very effective brakes on this Meteor and very smooth braking as well. So now I'm gonna throw a leg over it and we're gonna go over our controls and our dash, and then we'll start it up and be able to hear it run. So first, starting on our clutch side, we of course have our clutch. We've got these nice kind of three-way switches on the left and the right side. So on our left side here, low beam is always on, which is where it is. Our flash to pass, we bump it to the right, and then our high beam, we flick it to the left. So usually the flash to pass or momentary high beam is on the back of our switch right here, but this button controls some of the multifunction on our dash, which I will show you in 1 second. And then of course blinkers, not self-canceling, so make sure to cancel those out when you're done. And then our horn. And something I will mention before I forget, there is a USB port that comes pre-installed from the factory. We can see this cap right here that I just flipped up. So a very discreet location where you can just run really like a 1-foot cord along your bars, really along the factory harness, and have it ran in a very factory way and look very clean and factory. If you had your phone maybe kind of mounted here. So I like that Royal Enfield already includes a USB charging port, and it you don't even see it when you're on the bike. It's very discreet, and I do like that. We have our throttle now, front brake, another one of these three-way switches. And I showed you at the beginning of the video a close-up, but we can see it says Royal Enfield right here since 1901. I like that they did this little bit of design on it, and it's not just a blank piece of plastic, which it really could have been, and I don't think anyone would have had anything to say about it. But all these little touches that Royal Enfield does, like I said, it really just sets these bikes apart. So the operation of this switch, right now we're in the run position. This is kill, and this is start. You just bump it to the left for start. And another awesome standard feature is hazards. So we just flick this to the left and our hazards will turn on, but we need to have the key on first. So all we do is we turn our ignition on, flick this to the left, and then we've got 4-way flashers. And as you saw, I turned the key off and they do stay on. So very safe feature that, if you're unfortunately in an emergency situation or you're just, need to be seen wherever you're parked, then you can have these on. And then to turn them off, you just flick that to the right. So once again, an awesome standard feature that even bikes in a taller price point don't come with. So, good on Royal Enfield there. I will mention the grips are very comfortable. I would not change these out unless I was gonna maybe want heated grips. But if you don't need heated grips, these are so comfortable. They're like a soft touch rubber. And once again, really outshines a lot of other bikes in this price point. Or even higher price points that I've tested, and the grips are kind of just like a hard plastic. So once again, awesome job there with the materials they chose for the grips. We have this awesome windscreen. You're going down the road, it's going to deflect the bugs off you and really keep a lot of the wind off your neck and helmet. And of course, that's depending on maybe how tall you are. But I'm I'm like 5'11", 6 feet, and this windscreen does an awesome job of really making it a comfortable ride. And I love the design of it too. We've got like a little vent in it with the Royal Enfield logo. The shape looks great, and I like the mounting system. It's just very kind of clean and classy there. Now let's turn on our dash, and if I can get a better angle for you with the reflection, the clouds, the sun behind the clouds is not gonna really help us today, but I'll get a bit closer. So we see we have a fuel gauge. So right now we're almost full. As you see, full would be all the way to the right. I love that modern bikes have fuel gauges. And once again, awesome feature that these have as standard. Takes a lot of stress out of riding, of maybe checking your tank or remembering what mileage you filled up at. All you gotta do, like you're hopping in your car, you just check you check your fuel gauge, and you kind of know where you're at. So right now we're on our odometer. So what I'm gonna do is click our multifunction button, and then we go to trip A, trip B, and back to our odometer. And to reset the trip, we just want to be on our respective trip, so on B here. And then I'll press and hold that button, and it resets in just a couple seconds. Very easy, very intuitive. Of course, we have our time, and then our gear indicator. So right now it says 0 because we're in neutral, but if I click it into first, we can see it'll say 1. And then if I go back to neutral, it says 0. So awesome, once again, for a gear indicator. Then we always know kind of where we're at there. So now what I'm gonna do is start it up for you. And all we have to do is bump that starter. And it starts right up. Runs very smooth. These 350s sound really nice. They have a good thump to them. And really, once you get them on the road, you get it under load, you're accelerating, they sound really good, especially that kind of intake noise. And I will mention now the cold starting on these, the fueling, the tuning of the engines, very, very good. Really through all the Royal Enfield lineup, there's no kind of surging or stuttering issues or cold start issues that some other fuel injected bikes might have from the factory. Like no matter the temperature or the elevation you're at, these just start right up and they run great. And you can let it idle for like a minute and then go get right in traffic, and you're not gonna have any issues there. Like if you're still on your choke on a carburetor, and the bike isn't gonna run that well until it's fully warmed up. So let me give you a couple revs now. And the ABS light, we can see that remains on. That is normal, and by design, that ABS light will turn off on its own once you roll forward a few feet, because those ABS sensors just have to get a signal to make sure everything's A-okay. So that is normal as by design. That will go off on its own once you start riding a few feet. Now let's talk about that 3-year unlimited mileage warranty. This really just tells us how much Royal Enfield stands behind their product. I believe most other manufacturers are a 1-year warranty, and some may give a 2-year warranty, but I think most are 1. So 3 years, unlimited mileage. In those first 3 years, you could ride around the world if you wanted, and you'll still have a factory warranty on your Royal Enfield. Once you see these bikes up close, and I'm sure you're even noticing kind of in the video, the fit and finish is so good. The design, like they're really European quality, and we see little to none come back for warranty concerns, and we sell hundreds of these bikes a year. I'm not just saying that. If a bike's in the shop being worked on, I do know about it, as I'm normally kind of documenting things for YouTube for you guys, or maybe for internal use or things like that. But yeah, these bikes, they're so reliable. So even outside of that warranty period, you're still gonna have a stress-free time, riding your Royal Enfield. But now, let's talk about some accessories that we offer for the Meteor. We've got things like a rear luggage rack, Jivvy panniers, various windscreens. Of course, the Supernova red color comes with a windscreen already, but we do have still other options if for some reason you wanted to change it up. We've got various engine protection bars. Of course, some people call them crash bars, but I like to call them engine protection bars. No one wants to have a crash. But we do have various options there, whether you want some discrete ones or some bigger ones to offer maximum protection if unfortunately the bike tipped over. We have things like an LED headlight bulb. It's from the factory, it is halogen, but we do have a drop-in LED bulb that makes the light very, very effective at night, very confidence inspiring, and it still has like a clean cutoff, so you're not going to be blinding other drivers. So now that we've learned all about this Meteor, what I'm going to do is set up the camera, and I'll just take it for a couple laps around the parking lot so you can see it in action. You can hear that 350 thumper go by, and then we'll finish out the video. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you learned something new today and enjoyed watching. If you have any other questions about this Meteor or there's something I missed, definitely leave a comment down below. And feel free to give us a call at 978-263-9000. Also, at the date of this video, this Meteor is available for sale. So check out the link in this video, and in the description you can check out our Royal Enfield inventory. And we even ship bikes as well. So if you're not local to us in New England, it doesn't mean you can't buy a Royal Enfield from us. So don't forget to hit that like button. We notice your support and we do appreciate it. And subscribe so you don't miss the daily motoring content. This has been Ian reporting from our Boxborough location, and until next time.